righty. It's time. The time is now. Um, we are going to talk about our five best games of the year. Based on kind of a lot of things that we've kind of talked about up until this point, some of these will
Oh, we
probably
did
not be.
five?
Yeah, it's top five.
Okay.
The spreadsheet has top 10 and they're all in bold.
Well, that's because I do top 10. I
No,
never
well,
demand
I
more than
did
So did
10,
five.
but
I.
I have them numbered, so I'll do the five.
Oh, yeah, I've never demanded any more than five from any of you.
Yeah.
Is that going
I
to be a
think we
problem?
tried I think
No,
we
that's gonna be
tried to
great,
do
actually.
I think we tried to do 10, and then at one point we just couldn't do 10 and we dropped to 8.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
then
I
after
remember that. Yeah.
there was one
after-
year
Hmm.
most of us had only played like 7 new games
Yeah.
that year or something.
Because
And
I don't
we
want
did-
we
like
can't
we-
do 10.
Yeah, we
I
did a
want to
top 8
avoid
one
the
year,
I
and for
guess
some
this
of
is
us it
on the
was just
list.
yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
some
have
of
to
us
make
that's-
a
we did a
cut
top 8
right
and it
now
was like
because I want
every
to talk
game we
about
played.
something.
Okay, the top five. Yeah, top five. My bad. I did not realize I guess like, I'm looking at it right now. Like, yes, it does say that, but that's because I do a
Yeah.
top 10.
No,
That's
that's
weird
totally
because
fine.
mine
Okay.
says top 5 and I copied the thing.
Odd. Oh well.
Like
So
my 2022 also says top 5.
maybe I did it correctly in 2022.
I don't know.
Oh well.
Maybe that's what it is, 'cause
Everything
I
went
haven't
wrong after that.
I haven't been using your new one. I just copy the one from the previous year and then just retitle it.
Hey, whatever works. So my number five was it was really, really difficult for me to knock out the game that was number five. There's a hefty port. Like I'm looking at this list, and for games like the original top five, this was all stuff that came out in like the first 4 months of the year.
Damn.
Uh, so I've kind of had like my bar to beat for getting onto this list extraordinarily high for almost the entire year. Then
You
December
cut-
rolls around.
Uh,
And
That was kind of funny though.
what? Oh, where did I stop?
uh,
Am I still out?
No, you're still
you
here.
know,
Okay.
yeah, you're here, but for me at least, you cut out
Yeah.
right after talking about where your bar was.
So yeah, I've kind of known what my bar was for almost this entire year of like I can look at a game and say like it's good, but it doesn't clear that. But then December rolls around. And I've really struggled a little bit because this does kind of happen when we do these is I don't want to have a recency bias towards games that come out later in the year versus stuff that comes earlier, but I also don't want to be like more fondly remembering stuff that happened earlier that I haven't like played in a while. So I did go back and I played through all my kind of top five games a bit, just to kind of like make sure. But coming in at number five, against all odds, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I don't like Indiana Jones movies. I think that the two that I've seen, I like neither of them at all. I have not seen the one with Sean Connery.
I don't think it's going to change your mind.
Yeah, probably not.
That's what I've heard. I
But maybe Dial of Destiny.
I think that when this game, every single time this game showed, it looked kind of bad. But Machine Games has the juice, and you know what? I thought that the original like new Wolfenstein game on the 360, thought that game looked bad too. And whatever, it's on Game Pass, nothing to lose by trying it. And I honestly think that just the opening sequence from Raiders was enough to hook me. Because like I don't even like Raiders, but it's like, you know what? You're on to something here. Not since Hyperlight Drifter have I seen a game that's like it's not quite any one little thing I've seen before, but the way it picks and chooses, like it's got a little bit of Metroidvania, it's got a little bit of immersive sim, it's got a little bit of like first person action, it's got a little bit of Uncharted without like aping any of those things and just kind of meshing it together in a way that it kind of feels wholly unique. I cannot think of another game that feels or plays exactly like or that gives me the feelings that this game does.
This one, I think what I ended up comparing it to is it's the way I play Wolfenstein. You go quiet until you have to go loud, except it just doesn't give you the option to go loud.
Yeah, guns are terrible.
Yeah, awful. I've used
Um,
them once and a dynamite once, and it was immediately the bad choice.
Yeah, no, let me hit a
Dynamite's
dude
a
with a
mistake
guitar.
every time.
It's so funny though.
I think the
Um,
bolt action rifle is good, but every other gun sucks so much ass. Like, how do you fuck up a shotgun that bad?
the way that but we know they can make good shotguns. It's an active choice to make them
Yeah,
bad.
exactly. That makes it worse.
It's just the exploration, getting you keys and costumes, and just the entire gameplay loop. I did every single thing in each area that wasn't the like get all of the like little trinket, and I still even got every one of the trinkets. I don't remember which one. Um, just because it's fun to do. I like being in that world. I think it's like the only game out of everything I played this year. I wish this had some more levels in it. Like, I'm not ready to be done with this game, but I don't super just want to go around and do the busy work. But like, give me more of this. Like, I give me just throw it, keep throwing in new areas forever. Just let me keep doing them. Make them wherever
Yeah, I
you
heard the
want.
circle was great.
Yeah, like, oh man, just a delightful game. Uh, and I think like I would recommend this game to just about fucking anyone. Like, it's accessible, it's cool, it's fun, it's just a great time.
I will say there's a lot of weird little bits where it would like waste time or like need an extra input. And I don't remember if the Wolfenstein games did this. Like you hit interact on like a lever and he grabs the lever, but then you'd have to like hit S
I
to
found
pull
it
the lever.
charming.
I
Like,
thought it was weird. I thought it was dumb and
Pour the
like
wine.
why is this? Like anytime you
think-
had to unlock a door, you'd have to hit tab to pull out the key, E to put in the key, hold D to turn the key, because if you let go of D too early, he'll just put it right back. And it's like,
I
think
totally
Wolfenstein had
understand,
stuff
and I
like
think
that.
I think that like where you're coming from is like also completely like valid. I totally understand how that would be annoying. I did find that charming.
Yeah. And
Like,
I
it
played it on
wasn't-
I played it with a controller, so I feel like it was less annoying because doing that with keyboard controls does sound kind of irritating.
Mhm.
It wasn't enough of an issue to like really obviously take away from the game. It's just like really confusing choice.
I think because
It
I
makes it
ran
feel
into
like
this
those
in
point-and-click adventure
Wolfenstein.
games.
Yeah. Well, it's that, but then it's also if there's a moment where there's like a lot of pressure on you, like you're running away from a bunch of dudes, it adds a little bit more of that tension of like, oh shit, I'm at a door. Yeah. Without a dude coming up and shooting you or something like that.
I don't know. I went loud at any time I could, and I never really had.
Oh,
an
see,
issue.
I almost exclusively stealthed it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well, Ryan, I got a feeling Wolfenstein, or not Wolfenstein, that Indiana Jones is going to come back up. So, Ryan, what do you got to do?
You think?
Yeah, I think it might.
I think this might just be a not just recency bias, but I was impressed that it wasn't just something that was shitted out, but actually made a real good impression, and it stands up probably better than the second one. But I really liked Monument Valley 3. I think it had
Late entry.
great little brain teasers. It was just just puzzly enough to like tickle the brain, but I never really got stuck on anything. And it introduced some really cool stuff, and I'm happy, Netflix is out there funding the only mobile games I'll play.
Like Point B.
Shout out to Point B. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I still play Point B
I
sometimes.
should play my single
love
Monument Valley game
Point B.
sometime.
I fucking love Point B. Shit's
Yeah.
sick. Shit
So
whips.
good.
It has the sauce.
It does.
It has
It
the
absolutely
sauce.
does.
You exclusively make sauce to feed a big cat.
Mm.
Mm.
Lily,
Yeah, Monument
What's your
Valley
number?
3.
Yeah.
Monument Valley 3. I should play one of those someday.
You should. You can play all of them. It'll take you like 3 hours to play all of them, I bet.
Oh, is it my turn for
Someday.
real now?
Someday. It's your turn for real now.
Okay. My number 5 is a game called The Platform 8.
Oh shit, the Exit 8 sequel?
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
those from you? I
Oh,
assume those were
yeah.
from Rick.
No, those are both mine. I
Oh,
love those games.
fuck,
Those
okay.
games fucking whip.
There's a VR one.
I know. It is the second game from a studio called Kotake Create. The first one you have to walk through a subway platform looking for like signs changing on the walls or doors in different places, the floor tiles changing, like anomalies as they call them. The first one, very cool. The second one, you're actually on the train trying to get to the other end of the train where one of the doors will let you out. Not super logically sound, but it's a lot of fun. Um, it's not really a jump scare kind of a spooky game, just kind of like atmospheric psychological stuff.
It's a PT like, right?
Kind of, sorta, you could say that. But it's like if you walk into a train car and something is not the way that it's supposed to be, you have to turn around and go the other way. And if there was something wrong, you're still going the right direction, like towards the end of the train you want to be headed towards. But if there wasn't anything going on and you turned around, or if there was something and you kept going forward, you're like reset back to the beginning. And now you have to make it through 8 train cars again. Very cool games, both of them. I would highly recommend both of them. They're not expensive. They're both $4 on Steam,
Ooh, too rich for my blood.
but
Fuck you.
they're very good. Definitely give them a shot if you can. I had to make some cuts and move some things around so that that would make the top 5 because I wanted to talk about it.
They are both in my backlog. I would like to fuck with those.
Yeah, both very good.
Jason, convince me to fuck with something.
No, you already played it.
Oh.
Indiana
So
Jones.
for my number 5,
Indiana.
so I've played some of a lot of Zelda games in my life, but I've never finished any of them. This year, I beat my first Zelda game, and I actually beat 2 of them. And you don't play as Link in either one. In one, you play as Zelda, and in one, you play as a little spaceship, which is the game that's my number 5, Mini Shoot Adventures.
Okay.
It just felt
Mini
really
shoot
good.
hyphen adventures.
Mini
No,
Shoot
it's Mini Shoot
Hyrule Adventures.
apostrophe Adventures.
You're right. It is a bit. Yeah, you're right.
But it just felt good. It's a true tight little package. It's a short game, beat it in a few sittings. Just felt really good zooming around and shooting stuff. Doing the dungeon races, collecting items to move forward and get your upgrades and all that. I would get lost on occasion, which was my only kind of complaint about the game, is sometimes it wasn't really intuitive how to get to the next area where you're like running into a roadblock, but never to the point of like putting it down or having to look up an answer. I just think it's a really good $15 game. I got about 8 hours out of it, but I mean, I think if anyone who wants to do a like old Zelda type game or a twin stick shooter at the same time, I think it's super fun.
It's a good game.
Quite.
I'm so bad
Definitely
at
worth
twin stick
playing.
shooters, but I
But,
liked Mini Shoot.
You know, my Echoes of Wisdom was not my number 5.
Number 1. Hunter, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance.
Because it has a 5 in it.
It's true. But not only, like I mentioned the OST earlier, I think it's insane that they added 89 new tracks to an already expansive fucking OST for a game. But also, I like how they added a whole new story, and right away, it's just like first thing you do before even naming your guy, they're like, okay, do you want to do the new stuff or like the original story? Because this is the choice now. And even when you choose one, they're like, are you sure? Because they frame it like, if you release this woman's soul, the world will be on a different time path or whatever. And then it just straight up says, hey, if you release this soul, this is the new story. If you don't, it's the old story. Are you sure this is what you want to do? Yeah.
Can't fuck that up. Danny, hit me with your 5th game in a franchise.
Well, my number 5 best game of the year, not playing along with the bit, is
Everyone else
Balatro.
does.
Fuck off, Hunter. A Balatro. I mean, we've all played it. It feels good. It's when you finally get a run where things like are working well, all your jokers are lining up. and you're able to consistently get the hands that you want, it's like it's very satisfying to go through that loop, uh get those wins. Like I don't know.
Feels good.
I didn't play a ton of it, but what I did play was pretty fantastic.
It is cocaine.
Yeah.
It is wired directly into the pleasure center of your brain. It is every single thing that that game does is designed to give you the good chemicals.
It's a saucy game.
It's saucy.
It's an extremely saucy game.
Yeah, that's high on the sauce meter. Gonna get that 5 sauces. Um,
Sauce.
so with my top 5, I would say that I've kind of got like 3 little sub tiers. I have, 5, which is an indie, and then we're going to take a step up into 2, 3, and 4, which I do have ordered, but like honestly, you could kind of shuffle these around into any order and I would still walk away happy. But because we are the only game award show, I am going to like I stuck it out and I really thought hard about these and I ordered them as such. But my number 4, and it is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I, differing from Jason a bit, I love Metroidvanias, and I will make stupid decisions on purchases and my time to play Metroidvanias because I just like Metroidvanias. And as it turns out, when you take the studio that made one of the greatest, if not the greatest 2D platformer of all time, and you have them make a Metroidvania and you give it a lot of movement options, it produces something that is one of the greatest entries in the genre. Um, it's really difficult for me to just kind of like sing the praises about this game, especially like over things that we've already said. One thing that has not come up, I think, even once in discussions though, is the DLC or the add-on that came out.
Which
That's
also
like
came out this year.
that also came out this year. That's just like hard as a motherfucker, but like positive.
That's good though.
They take away not all of your powers, but like a lot of your powers. Um,
Including your
and
healing bottle.
yeah, they take away your flasks and you have to get all new flasks. It's we were all kind of like bashing our heads against it the first night when I was just like showing it to Lily and Danny for the first time, and it was that thing of just like no one wants us to put it down and walk away, but we probably need to put this down and walk away. It's just such a fantastic game. Like I'm not surprised at all that it is as good as it is, and it breaks my heart that there won't ever be another one or more of it.
Big rip.
Big rip.
Yeah.
Big rip.
Did it win any awards at the Jeffries?
Maybe a couple like minor ones. Nothing.
Yeah, no, I don't
It
think
might have won, like,
nothing I
best-
remember.
Yeah, but whatever. The Jeffries are fucked up anyway.
Yeah. I was hoping that it would win some awards and it would save the studio, but I think they ended up closing before.
Oh yeah,
the
it was closed
Jeffies.
before the Jeffies even
Yeah.
happened.
There was
Um,
a like a Visions of Mana or something that came out this year. They closed like the same day the game came out,
Ugh.
Classic.
which it turns out the game was apparently really good, and anyone who played it loved it.
Danny
So I
can
think
find
it's
out.
especially funny that that happened.
Okay.
Ryan, what is your number 4 game that hopefully has the studio still open?
God, I hope so. So as far as I know, the studio's only done 2 games, or at least 2 I've messed with, and of the 2, this is the one I vastly prefer. But I'm a big video pinball kind of guy. And I especially like it when it's hostile towards you. So Xenotilt is my number 4. I don't think I've been as smitten with video pinball in a long time as I have with Xenotilt. I think I put more hours into Xenotilt than I have pretty much any other video pinball minus Space Cadet 3D. I haven't reached the Billy Club yet, but it's super fun. It's so cool. Like action pinball. Yeah.
I liked Demon's Tilt a decent amount, but it is night and day how much better Xenotilt is.
Mhm.
Xenotilt might have been someone's number 5 game for about 11 months of this year,
Is
Mhm.
until December rolled around.
is Xenotilt available on PlayStation 5?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I
Think
can
so.
look at that.
Like it's a kind of common problem with video pinball is that you'll get one table on it. And this is, I think, the
Not
only
yet.
time I've ever not really cared that it was just one board because I like the one board so much.
Yeah. And yeah, it's like it's crazy how much I love fucking with it and how much I play. Like I think I put like something like 15, 16 hours into it. And it
Mhm.
is only that one fucking table. But something about like, and I'm still like I have hit the Billy Club like multiple times now. Like I've gotten some like really high scores on there, and it's just such a great video pinball. I adore it. It's fantastic. I'm so happy that they managed to improve upon it, and yeah, I do hope it ends up coming to other platforms than just Steam. Amazing Steam Deck game. Very
Oh, I
very
bet.
good
Yeah,
for
I
being
bet.
in
I
bed
believe
playing on
that.
Steam Deck.
It'd be great on Switch.
Be amazing on Switch.
Great on Switch.
But Lily, tell me something that you think would be great on Switch.
Well, I mean, yeah, not no. I think I'm gonna be the only person that talks about this game, which is okay. My number 4 game of the year is web fishing.
I wanted to try it.
It's just
Devastating
a cute
commitment to
little.
brand.
It's a cute little just fishing game where you play as a cat or a dog, and you've got a whole bunch of titles and T-shirts you can wear, and you can play the lottery, and it's just fun. It's cute. It's Animal Crossing, except all you can do is fish.
Do you want to talk
Um,
about the most expensive title?
huh?
Do you want to talk about the most expensive title?
The most expensive title? Oh, Straight.
Oh yeah. So funny.
There's a whole bunch of titles that are like bi and queer and women love women and men loving men and all of that stuff, and they're all like $100 or $300 or whatever. And then they got a bunch of messages in the Discord asking to put in a straight tag, so they put it in for like $9,999 and said, "Okay, have fun."
Lily,
It's
while you were
great.
doing that, also, if you could like kind of crouch down, lean forward a little bit, like the position you were in a second ago. No,
I don't
that's way
know.
too much. The little guy was just hanging out on your shoulder.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I thought that looked nice. But Jason, what is your number 4?
My number 4 game we have talked about plenty so far is Indiana Jones: The Great Circle.
No
Whoa.
Indiana Bones about it.
The gameplay feels pretty good. One of my gripes is that something we kind of expected going into it. The hand-to-hand combat left me wanting something a little cleaner. But
Well,
You
he's an
better
he's an
almost
archaeologist, not a boxer.
there was almost always
Not
a
seen
melee
it.
weapon I could pick up, so I could just smash people with a loot, which was a lot better than punching them 20 times to kill anybody. So it hasn't come up a ton, but there have been times where I am stuck having to punch somebody and dodge. The dodging isn't super clean feeling. I feel like you can time it perfectly and you
All
just still
counters
get punched.
all the time.
Um, but yeah, so the few times I've had to fight just face to face weren't great, particularly a couple of the like, I don't know, boss fights where you're fighting the giants have kind of sucked, but they're not too bad. That's also like the only time I use bullets is I'll just unload a clip of the revolver into a giant's face because I'm not going to use it anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's got entertaining cutscenes. I feel like those like have solid dialogue and they're a good length a lot of times where it's just kind of nice to sit back, just set my controller down and watch it for a few minutes. None of the areas felt too bloated. There was plenty of back and forth across maps, particularly in the first 2 sections in the Vatican and Giza. But all the way across the map was only like a 20 or 30-second run. It never felt like you were just running around to run around. And they had fast travel, but it was super unintuitive in my opinion. So
Yeah,
I
I
never
don't.
used
I
it.
will say I dislike the fast travel
The
system.
I
only
never
time
used
I
used
liked
it
the
was-
fast travel.
I
only
think I
used
used
it
it.
in
I think I
Succotash.
used it one time in the Vatican to get across the map. But after that, I was like, I don't remember where these signposts are to use them, so I'm just not gonna use them.
And plus, like walking
Um,
back and forth, you might notice a new path. Like I just found it
Yeah,
generally more rewarding to not fuck
one
with it.
one of the one of the big complaints I had that again only seemed to really matter in the first 2 areas were like specific bad guys in just the open world areas that could see through your disguise when you still like outside of restricted areas. It just
Oh
was
yeah,
kind
the
of
captain
annoying
dudes.
that you would be just like walking down the street and randomly somebody would be triggered and know that you were not supposed to be there when you weren't in a restricted area and you had your disguise on. Leave the stealth parts to the stealth areas. Like I'll stealth in the restricted zones or in like dungeons when there's Nazis in there, but it was just kind of annoying the like 2 or 3 times where I would just get recognized in a non-restricted zone and then either have to just get killed because all of a sudden 20 guys were on me or sprint away as fast as I could and then hide in a corner. Those parts a few times felt pretty annoying. But not a major complaint. It happened maybe 3 times overall between those first 2 sections. Feel like most of the puzzles were a good balance. None of them were like hard enough to be a huge problem, but most of them weren't like simple enough to feel pointless. I looked up one combo, but that was just because it was when I was in the middle of my GPU crashing and I just wanted to get through that area. And I just didn't want to fuck with it anymore. It had a good snowy mountain, so that's always a plus, even if that part was really short. But yeah, the guns are complete ass, which I liked because I don't want the guns to be an integral part of the game when there's no ammo in the game. I'm almost done with it, and I think I've picked up like 3 boxes of revolver bullets the whole
Ammo is
time.
rare and the guns are dog shit. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
So it's like I pick up guns all the time whenever I kill someone that has one, but I immediately flip it around to melee mode and just
Mhm.
mash people with it.
That it just they
Um,
feel like they're a joke or
yeah,
like
no, they're
FPS
awful.
losers.
Because yeah, you'll shoot somebody in the face twice with a gun and then they just punch you in the head.
Yeah.
I love the lucky hat. It's silly Indiana
Oh, it's
Jones
so
bullshit.
good.
That was one of the things that got cut from my item. I liked the map more. But yeah, I still have one level, so I don't know obviously like how it wraps up for the most part, but I think it's really good. I like games that are this length. I don't want to play every AAA game be a 60-hour open world thing. So a good 15 to 18-hour game is prime for me.
Aces.
And it's just like I liked Uncharted 1 and 2, and it definitely has kind of that Uncharted-y feel to it while still being its own thing. But I think
Hell, it
think
even
it's
has
a
a
great
puzzle
game.
from Uncharted in it.
That the one where you jump across the space. You jump.
No,
There's
the
a
one
no,
you
there's a
have to
train in
aim a
it.
bunch of lights at something.
Yeah, I love
Oh.
the light puzzles, and I liked some like in the later game the puzzles where you put the little pieces in and it turns the posts.
Oh yeah.
I thought those were fun.
I really I know it's an early on one, but I really liked figuring out like the picture of Jesus getting speared and then
Mhm.
like having to
Oh, yeah,
like
the
click the things into
numbers
place.
for
I
each
really
limb
liked
and
that
stuff.
puzzle.
Yeah.
That was a good puzzle.
The one I didn't like that I ended up looking up because I was just mad at my computer was the like captain cipher
Oh yeah.
where you had like the 4 little wheels you had to put in the
Oh, I like
thing.
the I mean,
I just
whatever.
didn't
You were
it
having
didn't
computer problems.
it did and it just that one just didn't click with me. I didn't even really understand what I was trying to do. And also if you just like take pictures of the cipher enough times, it just I think tells you the answer.
Oh. Well,
See, I didn't use any of the hint things. I think I did it once accidentally on like the fountain.
Mhm. That was the
I
first
really
time I
liked the
saw
fountain.
the ability to take
Yeah.
pictures to get a hint.
just
But
give me pictures of all the cats.
yeah. I think it's good. I think the characters are good. I think your sidekick, whose name
Gina.
is escaping me. Yeah,
Gina.
she
Strombo.
was like entertaining to have around, much better than what was it, Sheva from Resident Evil 5.
See, I thought
No, I think
Gina
it's a
was
really good game.
I thought
I
Gina
think
was
it
a good
in
enough
another year could have been
character,
a lot higher on my list.
Same.
but like I hated actually going through stuff with Gina because she would always get in the way. And then
See, I never
Oh, yeah, I
had
never
her
ran
get
into
in my
that.
way, and I also loved that Nazis couldn't see her.
Yeah. So she's like
Yeah.
just running through the area.
Because
I
yeah,
like
she would
how
be
she would
standing
fight,
straight up
but
in
like,
front of a Nazi who I'm like behind, and it wouldn't even be like registered.
I did think it was weird they had weapon repair kits when like
The
no
weapons are so
weapon,
bad.
none
Yeah,
of the
but
weapons
they break all
last
the
long.
time.
Yeah, none of them last long enough to bother using one.
Yeah.
Oh, see, well, I used it on my own gun all the time.
Oh yeah, that's when yeah.
I tried to use it on the gun once, and I think it was just bugging out because it would not let me use it. So I was like, oh,
Oh,
well,
see,
these things really are useless then.
it's
Well,
like
okay, no, the weapon repair kits are stupid because in your like inventory to like equip or use something is like say you're using controller, it's X. But in your inventory on the weapon repair kits, if you hit X on them, nothing happens. You have to go over to the broken gun you're holding and hit X on that to use a repair kit.
Oh, that's stupid.
And because that fucked me up a few times too, because I was like, my gun's broken, I'm hitting X on the repair kit, and it just keeps closing my menu. But yeah, because I would constantly break my revolver on people's heads.
I
Connor, what's
constantly
your number?
press the wrong buttons to put menus down
Yeah.
or whatever I'm holding down. So I'm
There's
always
a
crouching instead of dropping something.
there was a bit where I was playing on keyboard and to open like your little satchel to swap disguises and stuff, it's tab, but the map and journal are J. And for some reason I kept hitting tab when I meant to hit J, and I don't know why. So he'd like pull out his little satchel. I was like, no, what the fuck? What am I doing? I need the map. My number 4, by the way, is Balatro. I think we've talked enough about Balatro, and I feel like we're probably going to talk some more about Balatro.
It'll come up.
It'll happen.
Real quick, Ryan, Prince of Persia won innovation and accessibility on the Jeffies.
Nice.
Accessibility.
Sure.
Interesting.
But I don't know what that means. So, but it won it.
Okay,
Huh.
congratulations.
That's
Danny,
the only category it won.
can you tell me something that is innovating and accessible?
Yeah, it's pretty accessible. It's thank goodness you're here. Uh, I mean, again, it's a game that's come up a lot. We've talked a lot about it. And it's just a great series of bits. It a great little comedy game. Um, and yeah, uh, they're like some of the characters make you terribly uncomfortable. There's
This fucking cow.
I hate that fucking cow.
that cow.
Or this sick
There's the really
person.
long, the sick person with the really long limbs. Yeah, no, it's but they add something to it, and that game is a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Use
Uh,
the
It's like
sauce.
it's got the sauce. It's
it's
like a
got the
goose.
sauce.
Top 5 sauciest games.
Look, we'll get it for next year. My number 3 is a game that I've talked about enough for 6 people.
Destiny.
So it evens out. But it is Like a Dragon, Infinite
Mm.
Wealth. I think at this point, with it sweeping like damn near every category of mine in some way, I really don't think I need to talk that much more about it. Just it is a phenomenal both like potential end cap to that character, and then also just fundamentally a fun as hell JRPG, even outside of the Kiryu stuff. Like all of the characters are fucking delightful and morons, and they're great.
I'm excited to actually make it around to that in 4 or 5 years.
Wolf played through every mainline Yakuza game this year.
Yeah, I
Ooh.
know. Did he play
Uh,
anything else?
Yeah. Played a lot of Baldur's Gate and D&D. Okay, anyway. Ryan, what is your number 3?
I feel like in my heart this one's higher, but I can't put in good conscience a remaster that high. But Doom 1 and 2, specifically Legacy of Rust. Like I just really enjoyed that expansion episode story, whatever you want to call it. Super fun, lots of cool, interesting weapons. It gave some nice throw shout outs to like deleted Doom history. Like a lot of the enemies in that game were people that were left on like the cutting room floor. Soundtrack whipped. It was just it was a good time all around, and I love me some Doom.
People should play that. It's fun.
Never
If you like
heard of
Doom.
it.
Is it in the Steam library?
It's on Game Pass.
Okay.
Yeah, Doom
No,
Doom 1+2, and then one of the options is Legacy of Rust.
title it like a fucking Evangelion thing. Lily, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is Thank Goodness You're Here. It's
What's that?
I don't know. I think it's got this guy in it. This is the chimney sweep we were talking about.
Mm.
Fucking just solid bits from top to bottom. Everything that happens is good.
I think it is funnier than
Um,
Goose Game.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, and like I don't know. I feel like the end goal is different. Like in Goose Game, you are just a bastard
Yeah.
from top to
And
bottom.
in this
Like
one, you help people.
at least in this one, you are doing all of these things under the guise of helping people. Like that man wants you to mow the grass, but
It
then you
doesn't-
kill
it-
all the flowers.
It wasn't a tuppence.
'Twas a threepence. Like the gardener wants you to help him open his fertilizer, and as soon as you explode the whole thing on him, he goes, "Oh, there's a zipper right here." Like it under the guise of helping these people, you are a bastard, which is fundamentally different than Goose Game, where that's the only thing. And it's so good. Love it. I will continue to play this game until Panic or Coal Supper or whomever puts out another one just like
Thank
it.
goodness you're gone.
Thank goodness you're gone.
Jason, thank goodness you're here. What is your number 3? Third?
What is your
Three.
number 3rd?
What is your third?
So my number three is Astrobot, and having heard your complaints, I do get it, but it also kind of like strengthens, I think, why I do still like it so much. I think it's some of the better 3D platforming I've played, but my sample size is smaller. I really like things like the hover jump versus just a normal double jump. I like the way that that kind of changes things up. You can kill enemies below you with it, or it like breaks the floor to open up a new area. I think the game feels and looks amazing. Like I never felt like the controls were bad or it was clunky, and it's just visually
Very tight.
stunning. It does a lot of great things in all the different levels. And then the big thing that I kind of realized after your rant is that to me it is just a platformer. I have no nostalgia for any of the games that are referenced. I've never played Ape Escape. I've played a few hours of Horizon. No idea what Loco Roco is. I've just like barely touched any of the games that are referenced in there, and I don't have PlayStation nostalgia. I didn't grow up on the like PlayStation mascot games. So I guess
That's
so I
fair.
get like I didn't even realize that the Ape Escape studio got closed last year. That is funny, but fucked up. Um, but I had a lot of really cool abilities. Like I talked about the time slowing ability or the shrinking down to play the level in a completely different way. I just thought it was really great. The speed run levels were a nice little way to mix it up in the different worlds. Some of them kicked my ass, but most of them were pretty fun. Um, I one of my bigger kind of complaints that I've heard a lot of other people say is that the like in-game enemies are couldn't be more forgettable. Just the like alien dudes.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah, they're
they're
just like
not
little
wrong,
nobodies.
but
It's like it just seems just pointless.
yeah,
And
I think
then
that's reaching.
yeah, and then like one of the things I said earlier that I've kind of already, so I don't really need to go over, is like where do they go from here if they've built this character on being like a PlayStation nostalgia machine when I feel like they've run out of PlayStation properties to reference. So I'm really curious where they go because it's obviously, I mean, the game's a huge success, so they have to make more of them. So I'm really intrigued to see how they manage that because I feel like it'd be weird for them to rehash a bunch of the characters that they've already referenced a lot, but it would arguably be weirder to release the next full-length one and not reference PlayStation as a brand or the games that have existed at all. I think like it would be really jarring for them to do that. but I think
It-
long term that's what they have to do.
It's unfortunate that the one that does that was the VR one that no one's played.
Right? Yeah, it's like I haven't
Yeah.
played it because I don't have a
Yeah.
PSVR and never
I think
will.
I've played like 20 minutes of it at your house
Yeah, I
years
think you
ago.
showed it to me
It's
Mhm.
so
once.
cool. Just
Yeah.
It's really good.
Because like I loved the pack-in one on the PS5. Like I booted the PS5 up and beat that before I played anything else that I had bought for the
Packin'
system.
One is amazing. Some might call
Very
it
good.
the first or second best game of that year. But
But so yeah, I think it's got a lot of potential. I'm very curious to see what they do and how they pull it off with the inevitable next one because they can't just keep pulling their pud to PlayStation properties.
They should start making Astrobots of characters that never existed before, but they act like they were old PS1 characters. I'm like, you don't remember him? His game was great. And that way people will jump on the bandwagon and be like, yeah, I loved playing that when I was 6.
Vib Ribbon was really cool. They should,
Yeah.
I heard
Too
that.
bad it doesn't exist.
yeah. Hunter, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Warhammer 40K Space Marine
Oh wow.
2.
Okay.
Because that game whips ass.
Yeah.
It's got
Very
sauce.
very saucy. It's got sauce.
There's a bit in the last level where some giant, essentially a armed sarcophagus, bursts through a wall fighting another one, and it kills it immediately, and then just turns to you and is like, "Where the fuck are the enemies? Lead me to more slaughter."
I really want to play more of that game, and I would love to do the co-op stuff. I think that'd be fun on a bun. Oh, also, yeah, I don't think this has come up. That game has an entirely separate co-op campaign, like Portal 2 style. Like it's completely
love
different
that.
missions.
It's
Like
3-player co-op too.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's really cool. I would like to fuck with that. But Danny, what's something that I should fuck with?
Animal Well.
I
Animal
just
Wells.
don't like it. I'm sorry, Danny. I don't like it. I
I
tried.
don't understand what you don't like about it.
Dash hates Donkey.
I don't even
Yeah,
care
Dash-
about that.
Dash
Yeah, I'm
hates
sorry. After I
Metroidvanias.
embarrassed myself at Game of the Year 2022, where I accidentally put up the donkey video, I've been long-term planning my revenge against him, and it is snubbing him at the only game award show that matters.
Um, but no, like Animal Well, it Metroidvania with both cozy and spooky vibes. And like I feel the movement in the game was basic, but it felt good. It felt responsive in all the right ways. Uh, the uh, the ways in which you interacted with the environment, with like the little firecracker flowers, and how that changed the lighting in the game. It was beautiful, and eerie, and it I that there's so many little secrets to find in that game. I like I bought it and Prince of Persia on the same night, and I got instantly obsessed with Animal Well and played hours and hours of it. Well, like till 4 in the morning, which is not something I do. Um, and yeah, no, I adore that game. It's a challenge, and it's yeah, no, it's I I really love Animal Well.
Happy for you. Glad you enjoy it.
Dash, what's your number 2?
I like animal medium rare.
I like my animals raw.
So my number 2, honestly, this was kind of infinite wealth for a significant portion of the year, but upon getting the professional version of the PlayStation 5, and
Oh,
getting
Astrobot.
getting the frame rate and graphical fidelity bump that it gets there, and going back and like doing some more of the side missions and getting to the secret boss, it is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Not entirely surprising. I did really, really love that last Final Fantasy remake game. And this one I think really only makes it better. for those of you who don't know, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a collection of mini games that have brief like combat segments in between these different mini games.
Mm.
There is a like card game called Queen's Blood that is in it that is highly addictive. It's super fun. There's all sorts of really just kind of wacky and fun mini games that are taking place in it. Again, gorgeous, beautiful game. Not quite Indiana Jones beautiful, but just super duper fucking fun. Just a delight. I am extremely excited for the next one of these. I hope they can turn it around a little bit quicker. But I'm
I love all of the goofy characters in that game.
Barrett's dumb fucking sailor suit, Cloud riding around on the Segway, the general just PS1 vibe played totally straight faced with the best graphics money can buy. It's
Yeah.
so fucking silly. Big fan. But Ryan, what is your number two?
So the last two on my list are honestly the only two games this year that I felt like when I wasn't playing them, I was like, I really wish I was playing those right now. Like, I wish I could go home early from work and go play those. Or I wish I wasn't doing what I'm doing right now. I wish I was home playing these. But the first one, my number two is Prince of Persia. That one got its mitts in me, got its claws in me. And I don't know, I was thinking about it all the time. Like I really just wanted to get in there and play it. And yeah.
I did like nothing but that game. Like it got its hooks in me so fucking bad and I beat it. Like it did nothing but that for like 4 days.
Yeah, it's super cool. But we've talked about it a lot. But yeah,
People should fucking play that game if they haven't.
I think
Nah.
I think that is
What game?
probably the new like baby's first Metroidvania. Like if somebody asked me, I've never played these before, I'm
Honestly, great
probably
place to
gonna
start.
do that one.
It's maybe like a little like kind of more skill demanding, but not like Metroidvania knowledge demanding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
combat demanding and all
So,
that.
Like
if-
if they can fuck with platformers, they'll be fine.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
someone has played video games and they want to get into the Metroidvania genre, then yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be my first Metroidvania recommendation for someone who doesn't generally play video games, but
Because that's
Well, they
Gato
probably wouldn't be
Roboto.
asking- they
What's
probably
the
wouldn't be
video
asking about
game?
Metroidvanias just yet.
Yeah,
probably
Prince,
not. But
Prince of Persia, good fucking game as it turns out. Lily, can you tell me a good fucking game? Yeah, you have
Can't hear
fucked up your mic, but I can tell that you are talking about Prince of Persia because of that background.
Yeah, fighting the Manticore.
Nope, you nothing.
That's not
Hear
the
ya.
Manticore. Oh no, it is.
Can't hear shit, Lily.
Did Perry unplug your thing? Lily, we
Has that
cannot hear
micro-
you.
Has that microphone been there this whole time?
I think
Is
she's
that
had a little
better?
closer. Yes, that is fine.
Yes.
Okay. This was gonna be my number one, but there's one thing about this game that bumped it down to number two, and it's not anything necessarily about the gameplay. There's one thing that could have been on the screen for the whole game,
Yeah,
and it would have shaved probably 1 to 2 hours off of my total playtime of the game. And that is a fucking mini map. I opened the map so many fucking times because there's 1,000 paths to go down. There's 100 different one-way places that you can go to unlock to go back the other direction, but you got to do it the right direction the first time. And I opened the map so much. I paused the game so many times to go, oh no, I need to take the upper path, not the lower path, or what have you.
there should be a
And like it's such a good game. It feels so good to play. It's fluid, it's tight, it's incredible. And if it just had a mini map, it would have taken number one. I'm positive. But I had to pause so many times to say, okay, no, I need the upper path or whatever in that same vein. And it just was not doing it. That's the only real gripe that I have about the game.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Did you know the Silent Hill 2 remake tracks how many times you open your map?
Yep.
I wish that Prince of Persia did, because I'm sure it's a big fucking number.
I
Jason,
bet it was going to be part of an update, but then the studio closed.
Well,
2 is
but
not a big fucking number, but what would be the game you put at number 2?
My number 2 is a game we haven't talked about at all. It's Prince of
Yep.
Persia and the Lost Crown.
I was like, let's
Um,
go. Fuck yeah, new game.
This
For a
it's
brief moment, I'm like,
it's
is it UFO
Gotcha.
50?
it's some of the best platforming, just hands down, I've played in a video game ever.
Yeah.
One of my like the biggest things that I loved about it that like I took note of early in the game to make sure I brought up now is that it doesn't do one thing that I really hate in games that have wall jumping. In that most games that have like a wall jump and have like double jumps and dashes and stuff like that, those abilities don't reset until you hit the ground. But in Prince of Persia, you can
Yeah.
hit a wall and then double jump off of it and dash off of it and then hit another wall and keep chaining it together. And the
Yeah.
way that opens up the options for platforming
Mm.
instead of having
I
to hit the
agree.
ground every time you want to reset your double jump or your dash is just amazing. Like one of the parts of the game that immediately comes to mind with that is the columns on chains that are like going up and down
Yeah.
and how you have to like grab onto them, double jump up, dash over, fall down, and then like grab onto another one, just like kind of, and they're all like spiky on the top and bottom. That was
Yeah.
one part where I just loved that they made that part of the game instead of just getting one double jump and dash per like time hitting the ground.
Yeah.
So I
And I
really
feel like
like that.
a lot of the challenges where you go to get the like little coins that are
Mhm.
the equivalent of a strawberry in Celeste, like just as many as there are that require you to use every tool in your arsenal, like you have to jump and then dash and then double jump and then fall and use the lasso or whatever. There's just as many that require you to recharge in the middle.
Jason, you should play Rayman Origins.
Yeah.
It's on
Yeah.
Steam.
So I liked any of the parts where you're like swinging around the little pole and then you have to like jump off, dash through the spiky parts. But it's just it. There were probably 5 different times in that game where I'm like, this is the coolest platforming thing I've ever done in a game. And they're all like different abilities being utilized. And then the art style is great.
Yeah.
It had interesting abilities that made it like very unique compared to the few Metroidvanias I played. Like one point I heard, I think somebody on a podcast bring up is like a way that you can tell if a Metroidvania is like really strong and unique is how late into the game you get double jump.
Hmm.
And
Like
it's
if it's
the
one
like
of if it's
second
like
to last
yeah,
ability.
if it's like the 7th special ability you get and everything before it was cooler than double jump, then it's obviously like a well-designed game. And
Yeah.
that was and it is it's yeah, it's one of the like really late abilities that you get.
Yeah, like I feel like you
Um
get that and then grapple
yeah.
and then it's like boss time.
And then yeah, I'm not drawn to Metroidvanias, but I enjoyed this game so much that it's just a clear indicator of why it's so high on my list is that I don't even really like the genre and it's one of the best games I played this year.
Connor, since we know you didn't play Lost Crown, what you got?
Uh, I put Cryptmaster for my number 2
Nuh-uh.
because like I not only do I really like the setting, the look, the music, Cryptmaster as a character, but I think a first-person dungeon crawling typing game just sounds really weird
Oh,
saying it
it's
out
because it's
loud.
this close to Etrian Odyssey. I get it now.
Not enough map making
Not
though.
enough mapping. Cryptmaster is so fucking cool. People should really play that. I
Um,
cannot think of another thing like it that I've
It
played.
is very cool.
there's one really cool bit how there's like a secret ending where when you beat the last boss, you get 2 options, but then you can just say no, and then you get a secret third ending just by doing that. And I think that's really good way to do it because the whole game you can only type one word at a time because you're an undead idiot whose jaw is barely hanging on. So that's why you can only be like fish, bread. And
Shatter.
there's a lot of like skulls that will give you the equivalent souls, which are the equivalent of money and whatnot, where they'll just like ask you a riddle and you have to figure out the riddle. And
Those are cool puzzles.
you know, there's a rat really early on who's like running a stall, and he's like, I've got a fishing pole, but you can trade me nothing for it. So what are you gonna give me for it?
Type out nothing.
Yeah, you type nothing. And it's like, well, yeah, I got everything. So you're right. Here's your fishing pole.
It's a very clever puzzle game. It's really cool.
I should get back
Danny.
into it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you should. If you haven't finished it, you should finish it. Danny, tell me your number 2.
My number 2 is a little game called Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. I know people have their gripes about it with the frame rate performance issues. I did see frame rate drops. I never had any of the like menu loading issues that other people were having. And it, the way it uh returned to the world of the version of Hyrule of A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds, but evolved it and brought it into the modern Zelda. Um, there were they had 2 tribes of Zoras in this game. You had the Sea Zoras, which are the modern ones, and then you had the River Zora, which are the classic NES, Super Nintendo Zora
Pretty
that you
good.
would encounter. It was so full of charm, and I thought the puzzle solving in it, there were often very fun, creative solutions to it. Um, I adored this game. I it it triggered nostalgia in me in just the right ways, even with the more modern stuff. Like I had been thinking recently about like, man, they never really did any more with the like Yetis from Twilight Princess, and then here they are in Echoes of Wisdom, and it just it hit everywhere I wanted it to. It brings back classic Zelda dungeon design. Um, yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Someday,
Someday.
maybe. Someday, maybe.
Yeah.
As
I
for
think
Switch 2
the
I
day.
think it's a good game. I'm also not super picky on frame rate stuff. Like once Dash pointed it out and I was like looking for it, I could see it,
I envy you.
but it just didn't bother me. And it didn't do it in dungeons. It only did it when you were in the overworld, which to be fair is a good chunk of the game. But it didn't bother me. I think it landed at like I don't know 7 or 8 on my list.
Well, that brings us around to the final games. Um, I mean, like whatever. Mine's extraordinarily obvious what it is. But I do want to point out that I think this might be the first time ever where my game of the year literally did not hit a single place in any of my other categories. So this is actually the first time that I have brought it up.
How's that even
This entire
possible?
what?
How can it be your game of the year and not be in any other categories?
Because it's like it doesn't have best story or writing, it doesn't have soundtrack, doesn't have the best visual, like it doesn't do any of those elements better than anything else. It's
jack of all
just
trades, master of none.
It's
it
just Destiny.
fuck no. No, I mean it's
Destiny
like
2.
Just
both from
Electric
like
Boogaloo.
I think it's like not
Squirrel
only
with
my
a
favorite
gun.
game of the year, but like if I had to think of like what is kind of like what is the game of 2024, it's of course it's Balatro. Like
The
of
Stinky
course.
Poo.
Yeah, it's like I can't at basically no point this year has anything been better than Balatro. It's perfect. It's so tight and exactly what it needs to be. It's just so fucking perfect. I am astounded at just how good the game is and how well it does the things that it does. And yeah, it doesn't have a best moment or sequence for me, no best character or anything like that. It's just that fucking good. I've got almost 100 hours in this game. It's amazing. I did the Jokerless challenge.
Time to hit the casino.
It's fucking
Now you
amazing.
know how to play poker.
It's just such a what a accomplishment of game design to like take this simple idea and there's nothing else that's like this. Like it is an
Yeah.
original ass idea and to execute
And
on
they
it so
crushed
fucking
it.
well, and it's really only the one guy. Just fuck.
No,
It's so
it's a game that's gonna stick with me forever.
it's so amazing.
It's like
It is kind
it's
of
a forever game.
timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Like-
I still haven't even really cracked it open. Like I'm pretty sure I've never made it past ante 11. I can get to 11 pretty regularly, but I've never just hit that like next gear of getting the like scientific notation type scores. Like
And
I've hit the millions a few times.
anyone can understand it. Like it's like basically if you have to have the concept of knowing what makes up poker hands. That's all you
Yeah.
have to know. Like any like much like in the same way that I appreciate Tetris, anyone can just kind of pick this up and go.
Hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
And like it one thing it could probably do better, but I'm not even really complaining about because it like the realization made it fun was like it could give you a little more direction on things. Like I didn't know for the first I don't even know how long that I was playing the game that you could change the order of your jokers or change
But
the order of the cards in your hand so they're triggered in a different order.
I love that it doesn't because the
Yeah.
aha
Mm.
moment of
Right,
like
yeah, it's
figuring
like,
that out is
I'm not
so
bothered
cool.
that it didn't tell me. But
Yeah.
like,
Or
I
even,
was
like, I even had that same aha moment, like reading the loading screen tip where it says, make sure your jokers are in the right order, or where it
Mhm.
says they trigger from right to left. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
well, can I move? Oh, shit, I can move
Yeah.
them. Like,
Like I didn't. I played like a number of runs before I
Oh, yeah.
realized you could move.
Oh yeah,
stuff
yeah.
around.
It's yeah, because like
yeah,
why
absolutely.
would you wouldn't even
But
think
like,
about that? Why would it
yeah,
matter?
whether you do it by yourself or like see the loading screen and go, oh,
Mhm.
the order matters. Can I change it? Like,
Yeah,
Because the
you
order
still
also
get
doesn't
that
really
same
matter at low level
feeling.
play. Like it's once the
Yeah.
mult comes into play, that's when it like actually starts to matter.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just any game where you can constantly still be finding new ways to like break it is really fun. Like
break it wide open.
yeah, and like seeing the score catch on fire in the middle of
Mhm.
tallying your points to tell you that you're good was always
Yeah,
a
it's
rush,
so good.
especially when it's like you're on like your third joker and it's already on fire and your score just goes up and up and up and you just blast it by like 10 times what you needed just because it was the perfect hand.
It's the balance is remarkable. It's just fucking
A good
And like
perfect.
game.
it looks good, it sounds good.
Yeah.
It's just an all-around home run of a game that came out of nowhere. Like nobody was like who was
Yeah,
looking forward to Balatro before it came out?
I didn't even hear about
I
it
didn't know
until
about it
Dash posted
pre-release.
about
Like
it.
it was
Yeah,
just kind of I started hearing rumblings about it. Like, hey, people should fucking check this game out. And
Yeah, like you talked about it for a couple, maybe a week or two before I got around to like seeing it and playing it, and I was like, oh, this is the shit.
and I think like explaining it doesn't sound that good. It's just like
It
just get in
doesn't.
and just do a run.
No,
like
it doesn't sound fun at all
Yeah.
to
No.
explain to somebody.
Like it's a
me
poker
and-
roguelike.
And it's
yeah,
like,
like,
no,
me
no,
and
you just gotta
some-
do a hand or
It's
two.
Like I have a couple
technically a
other
solitaire.
friends. Yeah, like I have a couple other friends who have played it like a shitload. And we'll just be hanging out and we'll be like with somebody who hasn't seen it yet. And we'll
You
just be
have
like,
to try
okay,
it.
we're gonna
Yeah.
do a Balatro run. And we'll sit there and like one person will hold the controller, but we'll all just like make the decisions and we'll play a whole run of Balatro as like a group of 4 or 5 people, and it's
Mm.
super fun. It's like a great wind down, like last
Mhm.
thing we do before we all go home kind of thing.
I mean, that's what we did before I ended up buying it. We were at Dashes, and I think Zane was the one holding the controller.
Yeah.
And we were just doing that. And then as soon as we got home, I ended up buying it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I think
I
love
think we
Danny
were
and
all
I did
sharing the
something
one
very
copy.
positive or very similar over here.
Yeah.
like
My first experience with it was at Lily's, and we both played it kind of collaboratively, and then I was also there with you, Zane, and Dash, and yeah, no, that's actually I still don't have it on my own. I've only played it collaboratively, but
Yeah.
it's
I won't let
Uh,
myself buy it on my phone. That's a something I'm refusing to cross. I don't
it's
need
a-
it 24 hours a day. I need it to have at least the barrier of turning on my Steam Deck and like being somewhere where I have my Steam Deck or my Switch.
It's the
But
boring
it's-
choice, but it's my game of the year.
Yeah.
So Ryan,
and like
what
I
what
think
do
it's
you
very
got for
clear
me?
that it's mine, and I
Well,
don't know
yeah,
if it's
Ryan, what
Oh,
do you
mine's
got?
Indiana Jones. It's holding
Nice.
it's holding me over for Wolfenstein 3, however long that takes.
Mhm.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
I
Any,
like
any
the
last
part.
minute thoughts?
I like the part in Indiana Jones where he started whispering him to himself, and he's like, "Dad, hold your wings for me."
Yeah.
Dad, hold your wings for me.
Let me borrow that whip just one more time. The performance of what's his face, great job. The guy, Indiana
Two M's,
Jones,
two
great,
S's.
great impression. Bad guys are great. All the good stuff we said.
Yeah.
I think it still holds up. There's still, yeah.
I like how immediate my reaction to seeing the puzzle wall that you need like the relics for was, where I did it once.
Yeah.
And it turns in and a bunch of things pop up. I'm like, nah.
Like, yep,
not
no, I'm
worth
not
it.
gonna do that.
I can already tell this ain't worth it.
Lily, what you got as your number one?
I bet you can guess. It's Balatro.
Steep.
I was hoping that something might swerve it, but yeah, Balatro.
No, it's
So
Balatro.
you and Jason have Balatro?
Yeah,
Best
mine's
Snowy Mountain
Balatro.
2024
I
Balatro.
just one of my favorite things is I love when my game of the year is something that came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the years where my game of the year was not even on my radar to be on my most anticipated the year before. Like, I mean, two of my favorite game of the years are Control.
Yeah.
And Ghost of Tsushima, games that I didn't even know about until December of the year they came out.
They don't have to beat expectations. It's just
Like I had no
Right.
idea what they were. Didn't even hear about either of those games when they came out. Ghost of Tsushima mostly because it was a PS4 exclusive and I didn't have one, and I played it when I got the PS5. But like anytime where that happens, it's just such a good feeling that it's like it wasn't a game I was looking forward to. It came out of nowhere. People said it was cool, picked it up and loved it, and just played it too much.
Yeah.
Like
I like that four
such
of my
strong
top
games.
5 are like that.
Mm.
Like the Platform 8 is the only one I was actively looking forward to because I played the Exit 8 last year.
I mean, yeah, my 5 games, I don't even know if they were announced last year.
Yeah, I feel like this year is very much a like games
It's a good
coming
year
out of
for
nowhere
indie.
year.
it's a good year for
Yeah, well, like
Yeah, I
even
mean,
if you
It's
look
good
at
right
like
now.
of the year.
what was
Well, yeah, it was Ryan's
what were the
number one.
games for the Jeffies, it's like I feel like all those were like the expectations for what
Oh,
game of the
yeah,
year is
like
going to be, but
Wukong
everyone
and
else has their
Astrobot
own
and-
kind of
Yeah.
everyone has their own individual like little surprise game because a lot of good shit
And
came out this
Balatro.
year.
Yeah. Like I
Hunter-
would have liked to play Wukong, but I'm
yeah,
not
I
gonna
would play that
pay
for free.
$70 for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't look that good.
Like yeah, it's one of those. I don't
If
know.
it's ever like 20 or $30, maybe I'll
Try
pick it
it.
up. But
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
like
I mean, if it hits the
70,
Steam
nah.
pool, I'll play it.
Hunter, what's your number one?
My number one's Metaphor ReFantasio. I'm a big Atlas fanboy, as I don't know if you guys knew this about me, but
Nuh-uh.
this is essentially like a Atlas like
I want to say to you, oh, if you're a big
Anniversary
Atlas fan,
game?
name every Megami Tensei, but it's like, oh, you'll fucking do it.
He will. You don't have
If you're-
time
if
for
you're-
that.
If you're a big
2,
Atlas fan, name every country.
3.
Shut up,
That's a
Jason.
better joke.
That was a good one, Jason.
that was a really good one. It's essentially like an Atlas anniversary game because they take a little bit from like Megami Tensei with like the turn-based battle stuff. They take some from like Persona with the calendar and like the social link things. They take fucking Etrian Odyssey. And plus, like, I think the fantasy setting let them do more with the story. Because, like, the Persona stuff is just like, yeah, there's like some dark moments in like Persona games. Like, Dash, you just replayed 4, how like, what's her face gets shoved in a TV and murdered like right away. And that's like the initial thing for the dudes. But then, like, half the game is still just
It's kind of
hanging
Scooby
out.
Doo.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I gotta do my homework, gotta attend music practice. But like with this, at least they have the frame of, yeah, this is a medieval setting, and everything still kind of sucks shit. So even just like living day to day can be a struggle. Plus, I think with it being a fantasy setting, they felt like they could do more violent stuff instead of like, oh yeah, this guy jumped in front of a subway, but we didn't show anything other than the train crashing into a wall. No bodies or anything shown, but like there's a story beat with this where you just throw a spear into the main bad guy's torso, like from a chandelier, and then you have to fight him afterwards while like half his chest is still all bloodied and with a spear hole in it.
I didn't love Metaphor. I would love to play a sequel. Like I would love to see them kind of take this and iterate on it.
I
Yeah.
think I heard someone talk about Metaphor. Is that the game that has a scene where you have to go through and like look at the memories of where people were during someone jumping off a ledge?
No, that's 1,000.
No.
Is that 1,000 times
That's
resist?
Thousand Times Resist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to give that a try literally just for that scene because it sounds very cool.
It's in the pool.
It sounds unique.
You could
and I wanna
do
give it a
it
try.
right now. Actually, Metaphor is
could.
also in the Steam pool.
Yeah.
I know they both are.
There's also
I know.
a demo.
I'm
for, I think,
actively
both of them,
installing Doom
actually.
1+2 right now.
Yeah.
Or well, I got it most of the way, but then it said my connection was unstable, so I stopped.
Rip.
Yeah,
I know. I'll do it later.
I don't know if it lived up specifically to the hype of being like, because they teased like Studio Zero's making Project Fantasy like 6 years ago or something.
Mhm.
That like all they had to show for that was concept art. So I don't know what some people were expecting. I thought it was good enough.
Better than good enough. Some might
Yeah.
call it the best game of 2024.
Who would do that?
So I might.
Danny, it all
Yeah.
comes down to this.
Tell us about Zenless Zone Zero.
God, when you said Zelda, I was like, no, it cannot be.
No, my number one game for the year is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh, thank God.
Princess Peach sleeped it.
Allow
I love how bated your breath was.
Yeah, so I was
Um,
when you said Zelda, it's like I don't even give a fuck that you rated Zelda 2. It's like it cannot be Zenless. There's no fucking way.
No.
Gacha game sweeps the year.
Gotcha is the true inheritor
No,
of
it was
video games.
Zenless Zone Zero was surprisingly good, but I don't think it really
Okay,
cracked. It didn't crack my top 5.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Evidently.
But no, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've talked a lot about it as well tonight. My main thing with those games is I just absolutely adore all of the characters. They are fun to be around. Cloud's a little shit, and the rest my main party was always Tifa, Aerith, and Cloud. Two lesbians or bisexuals on their date with their twink following around is my headcanon for them. And yeah, no, just every it's I was constantly impressed by like how expansive and it genuinely kind of inspiring the game was, the world was. It felt more like epic fantasy than really anything else I've experienced in a long time. And it was like, yeah, no, this is why they're called Final Fantasy, is that they are like peak fantasy.
Because you wish it was the last one.
Like the stuff in the last game with like being in Midgar and like having those small and confined, very linear areas, and then this one switching to like being an open world game, it helps. It helps it so much.
Oh yeah. Just love the exploration and as like the hunting down and encountering all of the different types of enemies and all of the side quest stuff. It was I did not ever get bored with that. I have not yet
Are you in
finished the game.
Gongaga yet?
I just got there.
That's why. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. You
For me,
So-
Gongaga.
yeah, no,
Gongaga's
I'm
where I hit the wall.
Kazanga.
The Zonga
Uh,
Honkaroos.
whoa.
I I finished up in the area before there and was like, I need to set this aside so that I can play some other 2024 games and have opinions for this, um but it was not I didn't set it aside because I was bored with it by any means. It that game is it's one of my favorite games to have come out in years.
Good fucking game.
Glad you liked it.
Well, that's going to draw us to a close on our best games of 2024. Please join us next time as we do our fun little wrap ups, and we look forward to 2025.